ICE arrests over 100 illegal immigrants with child sex charges in 25 U.S. cities. If this is happening in 25 U.S. cities,
It's happening everywhere.
It's happening everywhere, and it's heavy, heavy trafficking. Again, these people don't have the same morals as us.
Nope.
They don't have them. Children are just a thing for them. You go to Afghanistan, and sex with children is preferred to sex with women.
Same thing in Iraq.
I can't. My brain won't even wrap around that.
And listen, and people get upset when you say that, but that's the culture there.
Yeah.
That's really happening on the ground. I lived there for 10 months-ish. I saw it all the time. I read the reports. I went to the intel briefings. I saw the videos, the footage. I saw it firsthand.
When the first team started coming back from Afghanistan in 2002, we had guys come back crying.
Yeah.
We go pick them up from the airfield, and they get in the freaking vehicles and they would just fall apart.
Yep.
And they've been holding together the whole time. They get in their vehicle. They're like, the shit I saw, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, let's go. You need a drink.
We're going right to the bar.
We're
getting two doubles.
Supposed to go to the psychologist and debrief. We will. We're stopping at the pre-psychologist first.
Yeah, that's not the usual 1, 2, 3 fingers. No, that's when you just hand them the whole fucking bottle.
You got to watch them. Really, when you get guys, when you come back from that kind of shit.
Yep.
You got to watch your guys, and you got to make sure that they don't drink too much.
Yeah, but going back to the border thing and whatnot. I'm sure the guys in the chats and everyone else with above room temperature IQ. The story of a 9-year-old girl, 11-year-old girl that came in through the southern border had, I don't know how many, I can't remember what the number was.
God, this one.
DNA samples.
Yes.
Multiple. I think it was like dozens. And then that's when my brain snapped. And then that's when I was like, okay, Democrats, you want to ban guns because if it just saves one child, that little girl now has to live with that horror that she lived with.
What? All right, hang on. The Democrats are tanking this country because they want to stay in power.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing. They know they haven't really passed any kind of policy or anything of any use for probably 30 goddamn years. They promise the world, they deliver nothing.
They take everything.
Well, and the Republicans are right behind them now.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a Mutt and Jeff routine.
Yeah.
They're just playing one side off the other.
Let's keep going. We got to get through this.
ICE announced the arrest of over 100 illegal immigrants wanted for serious crimes, including child sexual assault and murder in a nationwide enforcement action. Again, if this is nationwide, it's a trafficking ring. The operation led to the arrest of 171 individuals in 20 U.S. cities over 11 days. I know some of that happened here in Michigan.
First of all, it's not a trafficking ring. It's a trafficking army.
That's fair.
Okay.
The arrests included individuals wanted for or convicted of child molestation, child pornography, rape, and murder. Empty gravel pit cliff box of 22 shells.
Ooh.
Over the course, I'd just line them up. Push them over the edge.
Hang on. We can't be talking about direct violence. We can only say,
allegedly.
Listen, I don't condone it.
Phrasing.
I understand it.
Phrasing, crows.
But and listen, most of the time, historical examples. I mean, when stuff goes off the rails like this, it's going to lead to organized violence if nothing is done about it. At some point.
Let's just say whenever I look at this, the first thing through my head is caw.
Yep. You know what else we could do, Steve, is we could open up a tree trimming service.
Yeah.
And only hire people on a certain list.
Yeah, I understand where you're going with this. Over the course of 11 days, our dedicated and committed law enforcement officers zeroed in on removable at-large non-citizens who are wanted for or who have already been convicted of removable at-large non-citizens. You tap dancing, insert long list of swear words right here. Removable at-large non-citizens.
Lord's name in vain. Swear word redacted. What the hell?
Long string of creative epithets right here. You mealy mouth. Insert other words here.
Redacted.
Violence, things that I'm thinking.
I gotcha.
The results of this week-long effort are a testament to ERO's commitment to protecting the homeland through the arrest and removal of those who undermine the safety of U.S. communities and the integrity of U.S. immigration laws. Enforcement and removal operations personnel are committed to blah, blah, blah. Kiss my
Listen, if they were committed,
posterior.
there would be much bigger numbers on the board.
Well, it's not like the FBI pulled agents off of child schmexual investigations to go after
January
peaceful
6 people.
protesters.
No, they didn't pull anybody off of ping pong tournaments to go after did they? This organization arrested 73,822 non-citizens with criminal histories. So how many more are in the country? How many more are in the country? This is a huge. Now we've got the violent gangs. Then we've got the violent drug cartels that are Mexican special forces backed, selling meth in Washington.
Correct.
The Venezuelan urban shopping gangs.
I'm going to be doing another zombie apocalypse whiteboard edition. And quite literally, the process and the network is already in place because it was used by Antifa and BLM. Yeah. And now they're going to move actual people with actual real-world violence experience into those positions. And it won't be people lighting off fireworks or smoke bombs. It'll get really bad. I hope it doesn't. But my ESP is telling me this is happening for a reason. It is organized, and it's not for the benefit of this country at all.
No.
It's already here. Mm-hmm. This guy, this charmer, is Hector Guerrero, and he is a member of a Mexican gang called Tren de Aragua. I don't know what that means in Spanish. I don't recognize the words. I'm sure I could figure it out if I wanted to. Venezuelan criminal gang for the past few years has been extending its operations and causing havoc throughout Latin America. Has made an appearance in South Florida, claiming that at least one of the members was involved in a recent Miami murder. The violent gangs we were talking about are now active, and this is the first instance of a murder being publicized by one of these gangs in a major American city that I am aware of. There are probably more. But this one stuck out because this is Miami.
Yeah.
This is the tourist mecca. There have always been gangs there. You go into the barrio in Miami. There's Cayocho. There's the little Haiti that you need to stay out of. There's a place called Gould's, which is pretty ugly. Mm-hmm. And these are the barrios that are in Miami. But the violence and the gangs stayed in there. Miami Beach and Coconut Grove.
Don't they have a little
Havana? That's Cayocho.
Yeah. I used to go there and get their food. It was great.
So wonderful.
Oh my
Me
God.
too. I've been there.
I had to
times.
Stop doing it because I was starting to get fat.
Yeah. Cuban coffee is also good.
Oh my God.
There was Cape Canaveral, the North Florida space launch, and then there was Cayocho, the Cuban coffee, South Florida space launch.
What?
The strength of the Cuban coffee was called the South Florida space launch.
There you go. But I mean, we're not trying to scare you. We're trying to warn you. This is actually happening in this country. And because our mainstream media is under the thumb or controlled by somebody else, we are not hearing about this.
Yes.
They want to keep the information away from as many people as they can until it becomes almost too late to reverse.
Yeah, it's true. Look, there is something we can do about this stuff that is legal. One, these reporters for these news stations, you got your channel 2, 4, 7, whatever is in your area. Those reporters, ask them why they're not reporting on this stuff.
Yes.
Confront them. Call them. If you run into them in the street, be civil.
Mm-hmm.
Be civil. But ask them, why won't you report on this? Keep a list with you. Why won't you report on these murders that happened here in our city? Why won't you report on this child trafficking that's happening here in our city? Why haven't you reported these things? The more pressure, the more of us put on the media, that will move that needle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest of you, the same people, you need to get involved in county politics. I am now heavily involved in my county politics, like heavily. I'm there constantly, and they even know my name. You can watch a couple of videos from the Lapeer County Commission meetings where I'll go speak, and one of the commissioners is like, "Hey, Steve, Just, oh, he's back.
Yeah,
Because they know I'm there.
you're gonna.
But it shows them that you are there paying attention. And you can move the needle in your county, because a lot of times these county commissioners, they're people that you know. One of the county commissioners owns a restaurant that my wife and I frequent. Another one owns a farm that I frequent. You know, these people, we know them. You just don't realize that you know them most of the time.
Yeah.
Go talk to them. Say, this is a threat. Hey, look at these crimes here. This is what's happened in our state. Compile a list of these violent gangs, these child traffickings that are happening in your state, and say, hey, I'd like to present this sheet. Keep it to a page or two at the most to the sheriff.
Here's the thing. All right.
I'm trying to be proactive here. We need to start being active.
You cannot give huge intel dumps to law enforcement.
It's a waste of time. They won't even look
They
at
won't
it.
look at it.
Nope.
No. And
page and a half at the most.
It's going to take some pretty egregious shit to happen before they open their eyes and start listening to the people they're supposed to serve
That
and
is
protect.
correct. That is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Be civil, but be aggressive, be proactive. You can do this. And if in a county like mine with 70,000, 100 people show up at a meeting, guess what? The county commission pays attention.
Yeah.
Or the sheriff pays attention. You get 200 people showing up to the sheriff, all handing him the same sheet of paper saying, we need to act on this. This is a threat to our county. These are real Venezuelan gangs. This is the Jalisco cartel with Mexican special forces.
Yeah. And here's another thing is that needs to take place is a lot of these county sheriffs are probably going to have to separate themselves from the alphabet agencies intel dumps, because I have no confidence that the proper information is coming down the pipe to the county sheriff.
I'm 100% certain that it is not.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like our government. We don't even have a federal government. Let's just be honest.
It's a puppet.
They're literally doing nothing but wasting our money and allowing a silent invasion to take place.
And endangering our citizens.
Correct. Guess what? I mean, these drug cartels or gangs or whatever is taking place, that's another method for instilling fear so you can control people.
Yeah, this is the level of what's going on. And then you get down back to the border again. Feuding drug cartels block roads near U.S. border as gunmen force children off of school bus. These cartels, as they traffic their drugs, will interfere in your daily life.
Yep.
Especially if you live in or near one of these states that they're trafficking through. They force children off of a school bus across from Brownsville, Texas. At one point, gunmen forced middle school students off a bus and used the vehicle as a blockade. Roads were cleared, and officials claimed that one death reported early Tuesday was not related to the blockades. How do I get rid of this?
There the X.
Go. At about a dozen points in and around the city, gunmen carjacked vehicles and left them parked across roadways. The military deployed about 700 troops and 2 helicopters to quell the violence. Now, this is on the Matamoros. This is on the Mexican side of things, but it spilled over into Texas. This is the Gulf Cartel. And it's one of the larger ones there. I don't know if the Zapatos are functioning anymore. Didn't they get pretty wiped out?
I know that a lot of the people at the top were nixed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, usually when that happens, the people kind of melt away and move over to other cartels.
Gulf Cartel stepped into the... Those are fascinating stories, by the way. There are some mini documentary drama style on a couple of the cartel things. There's one called Reina del Sud, Queen of the South, that's actually really good. There's one on Escobar that's actually really good.
I had a couple of NCOs I knew that were with a certain unit that used to do direct action stuff. And they were there as advisors when Pablo Escobar got his one-way ticket to...
I know one of the medics.
Yeah, to the other side.
I know one of the medics, a guy named Tim.
Yeah, I heard the stories.
Yeah, we heard the same stories from Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, there's a lot of shit going on, man.
Yeah.
A lot of shit going on. We're like, oh, I'm sure.
Interesting.
Yes, sirree.
That's a weird crowd, that particular bunch. On Monday in the same area, police said they arrested a top lieutenant of the violent Metros faction of the Gulf Cartel, implicated in 23 attacks on police and 9 against military personnel. So these cartels are not afraid to attack the Mexican police or the Mexican military. Now you've got the Jaliscos, and they're in Washington State. Do you think they're going to be afraid to attack American police?
No.
American police are the least aggressive police I have ever seen in my life. You screw with the Carabinieri in Italy?
Yeah, you're sure.
They're
Or
gonna,
the Polizei in Germany.
Yeah.
I've watched them.
Yeah.
Like I was in a discotheque in Germany.
Mhm.
Fight breaks out. They push everyone into the street.
Mhm.
These guys are still fighting.
Yep.
The Polizei walk up. There's no questions asked. They just took out their batons and just beat
Went
the
to town.
shit out of these guys.
Yeah.
And had to carry them, their unconscious bodies, throw them in the wagon to take them to God knows where.
Yeah.
And then
Carabinieri in Italy are the same way.
yeah, I understand. You don't fuck with the Polizei, man.
Our police are basically wishy-washy in comparison to
Yeah.
some of that stuff there.
Yeah.
So these cartels, the Jaliscos, that are comprised of the Mexican special operators, they're not going to care.
So
Our cops.
perfect example of the a few. The police down in Texas. We all know the Uvalde situation and what happened there. What you probably didn't hear, those in the chat, there was another quote mass incident at a megachurch in Dallas,
Yeah.
down at Houston.
Oh, is this the most recent one?
Yes.
This one was just the other day.
Mhm.
It was an Central American quote woman question mark, because they don't know. It's a biological woman that identified as a man.
Negative. That is inverted, sir. I made that same mistake earlier today myself.
Okay, so it was
I
okay.
pulled the police record.
Negative
Okay,
Ghost Rider.
Negative. Writer.
negative. Okay,
Ghost
so
Rider, the tranny is broken.
stop that, repeat it, and then we're back on. That person went to one of the mega churches there, and with an AR-15, shocker, with Free Palestine on the weapon, and used a child, 8-year-old, 7-8-year-old,
7-year-old as a shield.
7-year-old as a human shield. The only person that was involved, the troon is smoked. She's in a she. I don't know. It's confusing. They're in a body bag.
The perp. Let's call it
Yeah.
the perp. The perp was dealt with by 2 off-duty police officers who were at the church and happened to be armed at the time.
Good.
Yeah. So
Well,
and
perp
then the police chief, to make my point, came on and said, "Oh well, we had an extensive investigation on which pronouns that person used, and it was in fact."
Why the fuck do we even give a shit about that?
That thing's arrest record went all the way back to 2016.
Yeah.
We never deported it. And it somehow had a rifle in its possession.
Yeah, it was an illegal person that also somehow allegedly voted in the 2020 election.
That is correct.
Wow.
Yeah, we tracked down the election record as well.
All right, let's we got a couple more to go through, and then we're going to hit super chats.
We're going to go to Super Chat after this one, I think.
there we
because
go.
apparently Jimmy said we're getting quite a few.
Yeah, we got a backlog.
IEDs found at U.S.-Mexico border in cartel gunfight. Now, this is the final escalation of everything we've been talking about. You've got the militarized cartels, you got the hyper-violent gangs, you've got the child trafficking, you've got the battles in our towns that are going on, you've got the questionable individuals doing things and getting themselves shot for it. 10 IEDs found at U.S.-Mexico border in cartel gunfight. Pop, tell us a little about the use of IEDs, please.
Okay. Well, I was wounded in Iraq by an IED. They were very common when I was there. And you make them big enough, there's really nothing you can't destroy with it.
Yeah.
I mean, they took out Edwin Abrams tanks. Yeah. I mean, I saw one that was flipped on its side.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen one fall into a ditch and do that, but I've never seen one.
It was blown off the
into
road
that
into the ditch and was on its side. So
I've
it
never seen one blown into the. Yeah. That's
but
impressive.
And listen, here's another thing: is we have this huge war going on in Ukraine with billions of dollars and weapons and being sent everywhere, plus all of the weapons we left in Afghanistan. How long do you think it's going to take for those high-level military-grade weapons to filter down and be used against us at either the northern or southern borders?
They're already here.
I know.
I would bet you a significant chunk of change that those weapons are already here.
A portion of them are, of course.
The thing, again,
listen, I need to get a new profession as an arms dealer.
we could become the Lords of War.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like the Russian, he's retired.
Yeah.
There's openings. There's
Yeah.
openings. A federal law enforcement source shared with Fox Business News in an internal officer safety alert dated December 13th that Border Patrol agents should be vigilant after the Mexican military seized 10 improvised explosive devices near the border. The IEDs were found by Mexican authorities after Tucson Border Patrol observed gunshots at the U.S.-Mexico border, and a Tucson Supervisory Border Patrol arrested an armed person on the U.S. side who had a loaded AK, bags.
Hang on. I'm going to make some phone calls and see if I can find out what these were constructed of, because it will tell you a lot of what's going on.
You're right.
If it's dynamite or ammonium nitrate based, that's locally made for the most part.
Right.
But if you're picking up weapons grade or army grade explosive materials, that's a real bad thing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, military grade explosives are called that for a reason.
Right. They're highly stable for transport and very effective when employed.
Absolutely correct.
The bad thing here is that we're dealing with people who won't hesitate to use an explosive device in an American town, city, airport,
correct,
sports venue, what have you.
Yeah.
These people, and I've said it over and over, don't care. They don't have the same concept of a conscience that we do. They do not have it.
No.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.